Thank you so much for coming back and tuning in. I have not been on YouTube Live in forever. And so this is going to be a good one. Let me drink some water because I know I'm going to be talking a lot. I hope you guys have had an amazing Wednesday today. Today's Wednesday. Amazing Wednesday. And we're gonna get into it, you guys. We're gonna talk about exactly how I managed to fire my 9 to 5 in 1 year. Okay. If you scroll back all the way back to my very first video, I don't even know if I still have it up. Is it still up? You will see that around this time, it was actually like July 2024, I started taking digital marketing and digital products seriously. And I told God, I said, I am going to get out of your way and I want you to have your way, right? And I cannot say that this entire journey was not nerve-wracking for me, because it absolutely was. Coming from someone that used to always say, I don't want to be on this side of the camera. I don't belong on this side of the camera. That's what I used to say. I don't belong on this side of the camera. And someone that was afraid to show up online for multiple reasons, right? Hold on, y'all, because my ring light just fell over. Give me just a second. Oh, goodness gracious. I have to get a new ring light. My ring light, if I'm being honest with you guys, like my ring light is quite literally, uh, it is rigged, okay? I had to tape it up and all kinds of things. I need to invest in a new ring light. But coming from someone that basically would say, like, I don't belong on this side of the camera. I don't belong camera facing. I was very scared. I was scared to go live. I was scared to post videos. I was scared to show up. I didn't know what I would talk about. I didn't know if anyone would listen to me. I didn't know if I had what it took, right? And I had to make the decision, like, you know what? If I want more, I have to do something different, right? I can't stay in the exact same cycle and system that I have been staying in. And so I had to challenge myself. I'm telling you, like, I was so nervous, so afraid. Hey, you guys, as you come in the room, welcome in. But I had to do it. I had to do it. And now, from this vantage point, looking back, I'm like, to God be the glory. I am so glad that I got out of my own way. I'm so glad that I addressed my limiting beliefs and that I stopped talking myself out of what God was trying to walk me into. Let me say that again, right? I made a decision to stop talking myself out of what God was walking me into, right? And so I showed up afraid and I did it. And look at me, less than a year later, I was able to fire my 9 to 5. I don't like to say quit because I am not a quitter, right? Hey, from Brazil, I am not a quitter. And so I don't like to say I quit my job. I fired my 9 to 5, right? And I was only able to do so because of the foundation that I set. I am never going to tell you to just leave your job. That you're not going to get that message from me, right? Because these people that are telling people to just leave their job because digital products and digital marketing and all of these things, they're not going to pay your bills when you leave your job, and your bills and the bill collectors and the rent and everything else is still due. I'm never going to tell you to leave your job. I'm going to give you the exact foundation that I laid to get me to a place where I was able to confidently walk into my office and say, thank you for the opportunity. I am in a position to where I don't need to rely solely on this one income, and I'm gone, right? Now, I'm gonna be honest, I could have just said I'm never going back. But I did give my job a 2 weeks notice because I don't like to burn bridges. I feel like when you do things, especially if it's God ordained, it needs to be in decency and order, right? Hey, you guys, I see you coming in the room. Welcome in, you guys. And so you never want to approach, especially when you are being God led, you never want to approach things from a messy standpoint, right? That's why when I was on live earlier today, I said, uh, clarity is more important than anything else, right? And it's important for me to know, like, okay, let me set this foundation. Let me go ahead and approach this thing with decency, with order, and allow God to take control from there. Right. And so that's exactly what I did. I did not want to just up and quit and say F y'all and just bounce. I wanted to say, you know what? I don't need y'all anymore, and there's no bad blood, but I'm not in a position to where I got to rely on one source of income. So that's what we're going to talk about today, you guys. So if you are in a place or in a space where you're just tired of doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, you're tired of living the paycheck to paycheck cycle over and over, you're tired of watching videos, you're tired of scrolling, and you know that God has so much more for you, you are in the right room. Okay, so where are you guys tuning in from? Let me know where you guys tuning in from. I love the engagement. I love the interaction. This is going to be a chill live today. I don't usually come on live on YouTube, but I did say I was going to start coming on more. And so I'm looking forward to this experience tonight. Where are you guys tuning in from? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments where you tuning in from. We're about to get into it, you guys. So if you don't have something to write with, I encourage you to get something to write with, because we're going to get to work. Okay? If you don't have something to write with, I encourage you to get something to write with, because we are going to get to work. I'm going to literally break it down step by step by step on what you need to do in order to set yourself up so that in a year from now, you are able to walk into your job and say, thank you for the opportunity. I am moving on. Okay? So we're going to lay that foundation. All right? So it's been quite some time for me. Honestly, my whole entire life, I knew that God has so much more planned for me. I did. My entire life, I was like, there's no way that God created me and brought me into this time, space, reality for me to just pay bills and then go on about my way. Like, you mean to tell me that I'm just going to be paying bills and working 10 to 12 hours every single day, and that's going to be my life? Absolutely not. I did not. Something in my spirit was like, yeah, that's not it, right? There's no way that God created me for just to be able to clock in and pay bills, right? I have had so many different businesses. I have started so many different businesses, all types of business. I had a soap making business. I had a resume writing business. I had all types of businesses, right? And I am so grateful to have come across digital products, because not only has it been extremely beneficial for me, but it has been extremely beneficial for the people that I work with, right? And so you don't have to worry about absolutely anything in terms of having inventory. You don't have to worry about products and shipping and packaging and all of those things. Those things are null and void when it comes to digital products. And so I didn't really come up grasp the concept of digital products until like last year, because even so, when I created my first product back in 2019 and I launched it in 2021, it was a physical product, right? And so I'm trying to think, because I don't want to misspeak, but I don't remember really knowing anything about digital products until last year. So a little bit of backstory, a little bit of history about me. So I did create my first digital product in 2019. Today, I am a 5-time self-published author. I have 5 books on Amazon. And in 2019, I started working on my products, right? Because it wasn't even a digital product. I started working on my product, and I didn't launch it until 2021. Yep, till 2021. And I used Amazon KDP. So essentially, you know how Amazon works. You go in there. I don't know if you are familiar with Amazon KDP, but you create the product and then they do all of the distribution. So when somebody orders your product, they do all of the shipping, right? So in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is genius. This is gold. I'm about to make so much money because I don't even have to have any inventory. Amazon is going to take care of, shipping everything to the customer. I am good. Fast forward, I did not sell a dime, right? I did not make any money from my first journal. And it's so sad. Actually, the only sales that I had was from like coworkers or family members, right? And it wasn't until last year when I was like, there has to be something that I am doing wrong, right? There has to be something. Like, I know that I'm an entrepreneur. I know in my spirit, in my heart of hearts, I am an entrepreneur. I know in my heart of hearts that God has so much more for me. And I'm trying all of these businesses. I'm trying all of these different things, and nothing is panning out. Nothing is working. So last year I said, you know what? I am going to start. And then when I started, God led me into mentorship, and I started working with a mentor. And I learned the missing pieces that I did not know prior to starting. That's really why I joined the mentorship community that I did, because I was like, there gotta be, because of this money. And I know everybody can't be on here. Like, everybody can't be on here lying about digital products and about making money in the online space. There has to be something that I am doing wrong. And that's one thing. Not until now, when I just said it, that I realized, like, I'm so grateful for that moment, because it caused me to reflect, right? I had to reflect and say, it can't be, it's not everybody else, it's me. It's something that I am doing or not doing that's keeping me here, right? And so that's the first thing, right? I didn't even know that God was going to do that, but that was the first lesson. The first lesson was me owning up and taking ownership of where I was, right? Because I was that person that I was like, I'm not finna invest in no mentorship and pay nobody to teach me something that I could learn online. I'm not about to pay nobody to teach me something that I could just watch YouTube videos and learn myself. That was my mentality, y'all. So when I tell you I understand exactly where you are, I understand exactly where you are. And you know what that mentality did? That mentality taught me a good lesson, and that mentality 1000% kept me broke. Right? So I came across this person, just like you came across my video. I came across this person's content, and I just started binge watching his content, and I was like, you know what? I am going to invest. I was watching for a while, if I'm being honest. I was just watching. I was just watching all his videos, and I was like, let me see if I could piece this together. And finally I caved in, and I was like, you know what? Let me invest, right? Because I'm not only investing in him, because I think sometimes when we think about like investing in things like mentorship, we look at it from the vantage point of, oh, I'm giving this person money. Right. But I stopped looking at it from that vantage point, and I started to say, I'm investing in me, in the information that I need. And if there's something that I need, if I got to go out there and pay for it, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go out there and pay for it. So I invested in a mentorship, and I was in the mentorship for a few months, you guys. Okay. I was in the mentorship for a few months, and in those few months, I got so much information, and the pieces started coming together, right? And it was honestly less about, like, he was giving crazy game on our calls, right? But for me, it was the questions that everybody else had that was in the community that I had, but I just didn't know how to ask it, right? And so when they were asking questions, and because I was behind the scenes, right? I was barely commenting, didn't really engage on the Zoom calls, and I was just in the background watching and listening. And I got so much value from the questions that people were asking. And the answers that he was giving was literally giving me every single thing that I needed, right? I also was in the background, and it felt good to be in a room of people that was also doing or wanting to do the thing that I was doing or the thing that I wanted to do. Right. And so environment and being surrounded by people that are on the same journey or on a similar journey as you, 1000%, 10 out of 10 recommend. Right. Because I talked about this on my TikTok live earlier today. You have to audit your circle. You have to audit your circle. Is your circle keeping you broke? Are the people that you are talking to keeping you broke? Are the people that you are sharing your vision with keeping you broke? Because people that don't understand that there is another way is literally going to project, they're going to project their fears onto you. Right? They're going to say, you mean to tell me you're leaving your good job because you want to do content creation? You mean to tell me that you are leaving your job because you want to make money online? Your good job, right? I've been in healthcare for over 15 years, and my situation was very comfortable, right? I will say that my situation was very comfortable. I was paid very decently. I worked past tense 3 minutes from my house. I worked for one of the top hospitals here in North Carolina, and it was a sweet situation. I didn't work hard at work, honestly, for real. For me, it was just the amount of hours that I was trading, the time that I was trading at work for me just didn't work anymore for me personally. And so the idea, the concept of, you mean to tell me you're going to walk away from your good job? You mean to tell me you're going to walk away from your benefits? You mean to tell me you're going to walk away from that good paying situation? You work literally around the corner from your house, and you know how many people wish they didn't have to commute, and you mean to tell me? And that mindset is exactly what would have kept me right there if I would have followed that information. Like if I would have bought into that mindset would have kept me right there. And so it's important for you to audit who you are around. What is your circle like? Are you inspired by the people that you are in connection with? Because if not, you're in the wrong circle. You're keeping yourself stuck exactly where you are. So I say that to say, being in the room full of people that was on the same or similar journey as me made it validated the fact that, oh, you're not crazy. There's people out here that are not only wanting to do what you are wanting to do, but that are doing what you are wanting to do, right? Because there were people in that room that had already made thousands of dollars, right? I remember like it was yesterday, there was this lady, she was on the call and she was literally in Africa. Okay. And she had joined the community because she wanted to scale her business to the next level, right? Because my mentor is a millionaire, right? And so if you're a millionaire, you know how to get, you can talk about your first sale. You can talk about how to get consistent sales. You can talk about how to scale your business. So there was people from all different points that was in that room, right? All different places in their journey that was in that room. And it just felt so good to be amongst people that had the same mindset and the same thought process of me. Like, yo, there gotta be some way to get out of here. So was in the mentorship group and community for a few months, and I learned what I needed to learn. And I started implementing the strategy, right? When I felt like, okay, all right, I got enough information. Let me go and apply. Let me go and apply the things that I'm learning, because that is also key, right? Because a lot of the times we get so consumed in getting the information, right? We get into information overload. We are just watching the videos, saving the videos, right? But not actually implementing the information that we are getting from the videos, right? Not actually doing the work and taking action. And so I was like, you know what? Let me pause on getting the information and let me start applying these strategies that we've been talking about on these calls, and let me see what comes of it. Fast forward, I started implementing the strategies, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I was literally sitting at my desk at work, and I got my first digital sale. I got my first, what was it? It was a subscription to my community. And it was 200, because I don't even remember how much my mentorship was when I first started out, but it was like 200 and something dollars of some sort, right? 200, I think it was like 240 or 260 something dollars. And I sat at that desk and I cried. Let me back up a little bit, because I was thinking about leaving even before I got my first sale, right? And I was battling it. I was like, don't just be hasty. Don't just make a drastic decision, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to deal with what comes with walking away without having validated your offer, right? Without having validated what it is that you want to do. So don't be hasty. But I said to God, my prayer was, God, I just need to make one sale. If I make one sale, then I know that it's time for me to go. Right? And God said what? God said, I'm going to do one better. God said, I'm going to give you 2 sales, because quite literally, I got one sale on that day while I was sitting at my desk. And the very next day, somebody else subscribed to the community. Right? And the first sale that I got, I remember it like it was yesterday. I cried, because I was like, God, like, I prayed for it, but like, I didn't know you was going to do it so soon. I didn't know you was going to do it so soon, God. Like, slow down. And in that moment, I was like, okay, well, maybe this was just luck. Maybe this was just luck. Maybe this was just a fluke. Maybe this was just, I don't know, a fragment of my imagination. I don't know. God, if you give me another sale, I am going to walk away from my job. And the very next day, God gave me another sale. Somebody subscribed to the community, right? So that was 2 sales in 2 days. So I had quite literally made $400 in 2 days, right? And so I made $200 that day and then $200 the next day. And even then, when God answered my prayers in those moments, I still did not leave. I still did not leave my job. I was having conversations with different people and just, speaking to different coworkers and just telling them like my vision and my plan, and wanting them to like get on board, because it's like if I'm winning, I want you to win, right? If I'm winning, I want you to get some money too. Like, we could all get this money. There's enough money for us all to make out here. And I remember talking to a few coworkers, and my coworkers was like, well, wait until you get the bonus, or wait until wait, just hold on a second. Just, don't leave right now, just think about. And I kept putting it off, and I kept putting it off, and I kept putting it off. And then I was almost like crumbling on the inside, right? Because I'm like, but God already showed me. God showed me what is possible. But, well, I guess you have a point, right? Like, I could wait until we get the bonus, and so I was battling, right? And so every day I had to get up and go to work. I was like, oh my God, I was dreading it. I was dreading it, right? And so I stayed. I stayed for quite some time, and I stayed for multiple reasons, because one of the reasons why I stayed, honestly, also is that most people don't talk about the fact that the money is beautiful, right? The amount of money that you can make with digital products and digital marketing is actually mind-blowing, right? Like, why didn't I start doing this sooner? But also the fact that was my social life, because entrepreneurship can be very, very lonely, right? And most people don't talk about the fact that entrepreneurship can be very, very lonely. I rarely hear anybody talking about how lonely entrepreneurship can actually be. So going into work was a sense of my social life, right? Because I was, surrounded by people that were in the same boat as me. We was all there together, just holding each other's hand and getting through it together, right? And it was like, well, I guess I could stay, because if I leave, then like I won't have a social life at all, right? And so I stayed until it started to weigh on my mental health. And when it started to weigh on my mental health, that's when I knew. I was like, you know what? I got to figure something out, right? So I ended up having to go out on leave. And I went out on leave. My doctor literally wrote me out on leave because I was crashing, right? Because I felt like a caged bird. I felt like I was trapped. I felt like it was like tug of war, push and pull. Like I want to leave, but so many things are still holding me back, and I don't want to just jump and then not have, just not have everything in place. And then what if I fail, right? What if it doesn't work, and then I have to come back, and all of those things was going through my mind. And so that tug of war, right? Every time Sunday evening rolled around. In fact, I was already thinking when Saturday came, I'm like, damn, tomorrow is Sunday. Tomorrow is Sunday, and I'm going to have to go back into this place tomorrow, right? Or on Monday, because Sunday is going to go by so quick that only a matter of time. You blink your eye on Sunday and it's already Monday. It's like, what the hell, right? And it started to weigh on my mental health, and I had to have a serious conversation with my medical provider, and she wrote me out. And that was a blessing in disguise for multiple reasons. It was a blessing in disguise because for the first time, I got to experience what freedom and making money while you're free felt like, right? Because while I wasn't there, I had so much time on my hand that I really got to start really like focusing and pouring all of my energy into my digital business, right? And so when I started doing that and I started really seeing the money come in, it was like, holy shit, right? Like, you mean to tell me I get to be free? I get to wake up every day and just decide what I'm going to do? Like, not have any particular thing planned other than what I know I have to do in my business. But I only work a couple of hours in my business, and then I have the rest of the day for myself. So I was like, this is mind blowing, right? My mind was blown. Because I feel like sometimes we think that you can't have both, right? Sometimes we think that it's either the freedom or the income, right? Because if you have the freedom, you can't have the income. And if you have the income, you can't have the freedom. But we don't think that we can have them both together, right? And so when I experienced them both together for the first time, y'all, it's a feeling that you cannot unfeel, right? And so I stayed out for a while, and if I'm being honest, so I have 4 streams of income, right? And my 9 to 5 was one of my streams of income, right? And so I was out on leave, and I said, you know what? I'm going to pour all of my energy into this thing because I see what's possible. And I wasn't even making thousands of dollars yet, right? But I was making some money, right? So I was like, even if it's extra income, even if it's just more than what I'm making from my 9 to 5, it's still more than what I'm making from my 9 to 5, right? And then I got the crazy idea to start multiple streams of income for every aspect of my life. So a stream of income for going out to eat, because one thing I and my family is going to do, we're going to go out to eat. Okay. We are going to go out to eat. I love trying new restaurants. I am new to North Carolina, and there's too many restaurants out here to try. And so We're going to go out to eat. I have a separate income for traveling, a separate income for my bills, a separate income for this. And I was like, you know what? I like how this feels. This feels good. Not have to only rely on one check, to not have to trade all of my time for a paycheck that I'm going to get once every 2 weeks. That felt good to me. It felt right? I would be able to get up and be like, let's go on a road trip, or let's take a flight and go somewhere. I was recently able to fly out and pop out to New York to celebrate my mother for her 70th birthday and be around my family. And what a blessing that was, right? And so I remember when I was on my way back, I didn't like my seats on the plane. And so while I was at the airport, I upgraded my seats, right? And when we were at the beach, I was like, this is my life. Like we had gotten up and went on a road trip, and I was like, this is my life. This right here, this is my life, right? The way this feels good to me, this is my life. And fast forward, I went into work. I went back into work on a Monday. And it was the first time that I had gone back into work after 3 months. My coworkers like to call it a sabbatical, right? It was like a 3-month sabbatical. And I went back into work on a Monday and I did a full shift. And when I first got into work, I was like, yo, it feels so good to be back, because I was surrounded by people that I know, people that I haven't seen in a while. Quite frankly, some of the people that I care about in real life, right? That are to me more than just coworkers. And it felt good until the afternoon started rolling around, right? And then the reality of, oh, I'm back. It was around 12 o'clock and I was like, I still got 5 hours here. And things like my 30-minute lunch break started to set in, right? And the reality of that, like, you only get 30 minutes to go eat, right? Seeing how everybody was still miserable there, right? And things like certain emails and stuff that I was getting, I was like, yo, no, I don't know. So I started to feel it, like after 12 o'clock, that the high of being back was starting to wear off. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. But I was still holding on, because I was like, okay, I could do this for a few months. Let me just give it till the end of the year at least, right? And by the end of the day, when I got home and I took a shower and I laid in my bed, I felt depleted. I felt overstimulated. I felt like I don't want to go back there tomorrow. Right? And I text my coworker and I said, I feel overstimulated right now. And then that same evening, I started to get a cold sore on my lip. And my body started reacting to the stress of being back at work. And that was it for me. That's when I realized, like, it's time for me to go, right? And so I went in the very next day and I resigned from my 9 to 5. I fired my 9 to 5. And I fired my 9 to 5 with a smile on my face and joy in my heart, because I know that I have already validated my offers. I know what I'm doing. My strategy is solid. I am literally giving my strategy to my mentees. They are implementing the exact same strategy and they are winning, right? And if you were on my TikTok live earlier, you saw my mentees in the comments, just commenting, tapping the screen, showing love, right? And so I went in and resigned, and yeah, so that's my resignation story. But on today's live, I want to give you the exact same steps that I took so that you can start implementing the same strategies. And I want you to switch your mindset about what your job is, right? Because a lot of the times we are so miserable at work and we are, we just don't want to be there. And the universe responds to energy, right? And so if you are constantly complaining, groaning, and moping about having to go into work, that is the energy that you are giving to the universe. You are emitting the energy of lack, right? you are emitting the opposite energy of happiness, joy, gratitude. And so the universe is going to respond by giving you more of what you don't want, because that's the energy that you are giving off. So I want you to switch your mindset about your job, and I want you to walk into your job knowing that it is just temporary. Okay? I want you to walk into work knowing that this is just temporary for me. I am not going to be here 5, 10, 20 years, right? Your job is your investor for your business, right? And I want you to, and I feel a little funny when I say this, because it can hit some people wrong, and that's okay, because that's fine. But I want you to almost feel sorry for anybody that is not working towards doing anything else, because that place of employment is going to be their lives, right? If it's not that place of employment, it's going to be another place of employment. But either way, they're going to be stuck and trapped in that 9 to 5 hamster wheel, that 9 to 5 circle, right? And so with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into the live. I'm going to give you 6 core steps on how to lay the foundation of setting yourself up for multiple streams of income, and how to finally set yourself up to where, even if you don't want to leave your job, at least you're making more money, or you have the room, the space, and the capacity to say, do I want to keep doing this, or do I still want to be in this industry? Do I want to try something else, without feeling tied down to or shackled to something that you don't want to actually do? All right. So let's get right into it. If you see me looking over here, it's because I have my notes, and I want to make sure that I am clear, concise, and giving you guys all of the information that you guys need today. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first step is to shift your mindset from being an employee to a owner. Okay. You are already a CEO. You are more than your job title. You are more than a customer service rep. You are more than a nurse. You are more than an accountant. You are more than a bank teller. Whatever you do at work, you are more than just that. Okay? You, in fact, are the CEO of your own life. Now, whether you are running your company for it to succeed or fail, that's a different conversation for a different day. But you are already an owner. All right. And so we have to switch out of the mindset of trading time for dollars. And most people like to tell you that it starts with the digital product. Start with the digital product, create a digital product, or purchase a already done for you digital product. All of that, that's a bunch of this, right? Because it does not matter whether you have the digital product, whether you created it or whether you purchased it. If you don't have anybody to buy that digital product, if you don't understand what makes people dig into their pockets to give you their money, you will stay right there. That digital product will collect digital dust, because nobody will invest in it, because people don't buy products, right? People do not buy products. People buy information and transformation. They don't even buy information. People buy transformation, and people buy people, right? So you have to get your audience or your target person to know, like, and trust you in order for them to actually invest, right? And we're going to talk some more about that today. All right. So I want you to know that every decision you make is a business decision, whether you realize it or not, right? Every day that you decide not to work towards the life that you say that you want, you are making a decision in your business to keep your company right where it is, right? So think about it like this. You run a business. Your business is failing, and you're not doing absolutely anything about it. You're not doing anything to get it to the next level. Right? Now, that's for you to analyze and for you to, figure out, like, okay, am I doing anything to push the needle forward to get to the life that I say that I want? Either way, whether you are or you aren't, that's a choice that you're making. And so I need you to take a minute to self-assess and to ask yourself, am I a good owner for my business in my life? Right? Because ownership is really a mindset. It's a mindset before it's actually tangible, right? So if you don't own anything successful already, it's because you are not properly managing the business of you, right? And I know that it's hard to hear. It was hard for me to accept. But that was a reality that I had to come to terms with. I had to look in the mirror and say, you are not properly managing the business of you. So what you gonna do, right? All right. So that's the first thing, is shifting your mindset from the employee mindset to the ownership mindset. Okay. So if anybody that you listen to or that you watch tells you that it starts with the digital product, they are only trying to get your money, because that quite literally is, it's selling you the dream. It's selling you the dream of the potential of what could happen, but they're not really giving you the play-by-play. They're not telling you exactly what they are doing, right? And so it does not start with the digital product, right? It starts with the mindset and shifting your mindset from employee, to owner. Step two. If you are ready for step 2, go ahead and put step 2 in the comments. If you are ready, go ahead and put step 2 in the comments. All right, let's go ahead and move on. So you don't need any more hustle, right? You got to move from the hustle mentality. What you need is focus. What you need is strategy. Okay? It is not hustle. You don't need no more. This hustle culture is going to keep you stuck right where you are. It is not, you don't need any more hustle. You need strategy and you need clarity in your business. Okay? So what I want you to do is, anything that you are currently working on, I want you to stop. Any digital products, any whatever that you are currently working on, I want you to stop. I want you to pause, right? Because you don't have no strategy and no structure. You haven't built your foundation. You have not nurtured your target person. You have not built your community. You do not have anybody to buy the thing that you are selling. They don't want it because you have not set the foundation. So you are coming across as if you are just trying to sell them something. That's not what you want, right? So just take a pause from anything that you are working on right now. If you are a creator like me, you probably have multiple digital products. I'm going to say, let's be honest. If you are a creator like me, you probably have multiple digital products that you cannot figure out why nobody is buying. Pause on those. And I know those are like things that you feel like, this is real good information. I'm sure that it is good information. I'm sure that it is. However, we have to start from ground zero. Right? When somebody is building a house, guess what they are not going to do? They're not just going to go to Lowe's or go to Home Depot, get some material, come to the ground and just slap it on the ground. No, they got to test the ground. They have to make sure that the foundation is set, or the first sign of wind is going to blow that house down. So we have to start from the foundation. I need you to eliminate any distractions. Anything that is keeping you from focusing on your digital business, get rid of it, right? So the time that you are taking to scroll on social media, the time that you are taking to watch Netflix, right? The time that you are taking to be caked up on the phone with a man or a woman. Those are all distractions right now because you don't have time for that, right? And I'm giving you everything that I had to tell myself. You do not have time for that. Right now, you are trying to get out of the space that you are in. Okay, and that's where your focus and your energy should be going. So eliminate any distraction that you have. All right. we have to start thinking about, okay, what is it that I really want to do? What does my dream life actually look like for me? Right? What does my dream life actually look like for me? Because some of the times, oftentimes, we just say, I don't want to do this anymore. I want a different life. I want a better life. I don't feel fulfilled in my life. I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. But we have not taken the opportunity to sit back and think, well, what is it? How is it that I want my life to actually be? Right? You have to think about that, because you have to know where you are going, what you are working towards. Right? Because if you don't know what you're working towards, you're just working. Right? Yes, we know you want financial freedom. Right? Most people do. Most people want financial freedom. But how do you want to feel in your life? I want you to get clear on that. Okay? Who do you want to serve? Right? And we're going to be able to, in this strategy that I'm giving you, we're going to be able to, I'm going to break it down on how you can figure out exactly how you come up with who you want to serve and what your zone of genius is. That's actually step number 3, right? Is identifying your zone of genius. Okay, I want you to think, like, what does freedom actually mean? Yes, you want to be financially free, but what does that actually mean, and what does that actually look like for you? Right? Do you want to be able to travel more? Do you want to be able to, I don't know, do you want to buy your home? Right? Do you want to clear your credit? Do you want to buy your dream car? What does the life that you want look like for you? What does that mean to you? All right, let's get clear on that. So step number 3 is identifying your zone of genius, right? And these are all tips. These are all steps and things that I did to get to this place. Now, I didn't do them in this order, right? Because I did not have the information that I have now. Okay, but I'm giving them to you in this order because being in a space now where I've already made thousands of dollars in the online space, I know what it takes, right? And so I want you to get to your destination a lot quicker than it took me. All right, so I'm giving you every single thing that I wish that I had, that I wish somebody would have told me when I was trying to figure out my process and my journey. Okay, so I'm giving it to you in the order that you need to work on it from. So I want you to write these down, right? So we're on number 3. So step number 3 is identifying your zone of genius. Like I said earlier, a lot of people like to start with the digital product. Well, let me just create this digital product over here, right? Let me put this coloring book together. Let me put this journal together. Let me put this, whatever together. That's what I did, right? I just learned how to create a journal on Canva, which I hate to say that it's easy, but I know one thing for sure, it's not hard, right? So Canva gives you templates. You just go in there, you type, and now that we have ChatGPT, forget about it, right? Even easier, right? So you pick a template, you go in there, you edit it, boom, 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 you create your digital product, blah, blah, blah. You put all that blood, sweat, and tears into it, and now you don't have nothing to show for all of the effort and the energy that you put into that digital product because you didn't follow these steps, right? We have to start with what your zone of genius is. You cannot speak to anything that you have not experienced first in your life. I tell my mentees all the time, don't embarrass me and get on this here internet and talk about something that you have not solved for yourself. What have you solved for yourself in your life? Okay, if you are in the Mobile Money Academy and you cannot think about anything, like it just doesn't come to your mind on what you have solved for yourself, I want you to go into your Clarity the Coins ebook and I want you to take that ChatGPT prompt, fill in the blanks, and then put it into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is going to tell you what you are an expert at. Okay, so you are maybe not an expert at everything, right? You're maybe not an expert at 50 things. But one thing that you are 1000% an expert at is your life experiences, right? And oftentimes we are so used to going through things and getting through things that we don't even realize, like, you know what? I did solve that problem for myself. I did achieve that. I did get myself from this point to this point. right? And so if you can't figure that out, use the prompt. Put the prompt into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is going to tell you what niche you should be in, what category you should be talking about that is going to make you the most money, right? And the reason why I created that ChatGPT prompt myself, okay? I created it myself. I really do need to get it trademarked or copywritten, because it really is genius, if I do say so myself. I'm not a toot your own horn kind of person, but it's genius, if I do say so myself, right? And so you put that into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is going to say, based on the information that you gave me, this is what you need to be talking about, right? And then once it does, because it's going to give you 5. If you use that prompt, it's going to give you 5 areas of expertise that you can talk about that you will be successful at. You just need to pick one. You just need to pick one, right? And then you can use those others later on down the line, but you just need to pick one, right? And then I want you to pick the one that resonates with you the most, the one that identifies with you the most, the one that you remember going through that exact experience, what it felt like for you to be in that position of not having gotten to where you are and not having solved that problem. Why? Because your target person, that's who your target person is going to be. That's who you are going to be talking to. Right? So essentially what I want you to do is I want you to think about it from the perspective of, I am going back and getting that version of me that did not have the information that I have today. That's why I'm so passionate about coming on this here online platform, on social media, YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is, and speaking to you, because you are exactly where I was less than a year ago. When I was afraid of starting, when I was contemplating, like watching all these videos, wanting to start, wanting to make passive income, not feeling all the way qualified to do so, right? Talking myself out of it time and time again, getting frustrated, listening to my limiting beliefs, listening to people around me that would say, don't do that, right? Not because they mean you any harm, but because that's their reality. Their reality is they have not done anything outside of what they're doing. So they cannot even fathom what it even looks like to make money in the online space. Right? And so you have to go back and you have to get the version of you that went through every single thing, or that is at a place that is going through every single thing that you have already gone through. Right? So you're going back to save that person. That is a responsibility. The same, you need to be the person that you wish you had. Okay? That's how I want you to think about it. I don't want you to think about no digital product. I don't want you to think about selling anything. I want you to go back and get the version of you that needed what it is that you have right now, the wisdom, the experience, the trial and error that you had to go through to get to where you are. I want you to go back and get them, right? And walk them through the process so that it doesn't take them as long as it is taking you to get to where you are, right? That's essentially what I'm doing in my business. I'm telling you to do exactly what I am actively doing in my business. You are the version of me that I wish that I was. And I am the version of me that I wish that I had when I was in the place that you are. That's why I want you to win. I want you to know that this is possible for you. I don't have to sell you a thing. You don't have to buy anything from me. Trust and believe. But I do want you to know that this is 1,000% possible for you. And I am living, breathing, walking, talking proof of that. And that's what I need. I need you to convey that same level of confidence. I need you to convey that same level of poise and of conviction when you are talking to your target person, right? And you can't speak with that same level of conviction if you've never gone through it, right? You can tell when people are trying to sell you something. You can tell when people don't know what they're talking about. You can tell when people are just getting on here, just just giving you information, making you believe that they know what they're talking about. You can tell, people can tell. That's why I tell my mentees, don't get on here and embarrass me. Okay? Do not get on here and embarrass me. So how do we identify our zone of genius? If you are not in the academy, that's fine. You don't have access to Clarity to Coins, that's fine. Right? But I want you to think about, what do people already come to me for? What do people already trust me to give them information or advice in? What have I successfully done that if somebody came to me, I could sit them down and walk them through how to get to where I am, step by step? Are you a single mother of multiple children? You've had to raise your children. That is a problem. There's a new mother out there that is struggling, trying to figure out how to raise daughters, how to raise sons. That just is waiting for somebody to show up and say, this is what I did. I know exactly what you're going through because I went through it. This is how we got to this point. This is how I got my children to graduate with honors. This is how we got out of this situation. This is how I got myself out of poverty. And it can be absolutely anything. It could be whether you experience depression and anxiety, right? Whether you traveled the world and you lived abroad, right? Whether you know how to sew, whether you know how to knit, whether you know you're good in technology, whatever it is, what is your zone of genius, right? Again, if you cannot think of it, I want you to use the Clarity to Coins ChatGPT prompt because it's going to give you the answer. You won't even have to think about it, okay? What might come easy to you that might come hard to somebody else? Right? When I was first in the place where I was getting online and getting in the camera and recording videos and stuff, that was not easy for me, right? Now I can tell my people, well, I want you to go into your mobile money bundle and I want you to get your confidence on camera challenge, because I created that confidence on camera challenge because I know how I felt when I was first getting in front of the camera. Right? And so I need you to work that muscle. Right? I can tell you that. I can tell you how to get from here to here. I can tell you how to get to your first sale. I can tell you how to get from your first sale to consistent sale. I've already done it. Right? So I want you to think about, what is one thing that you have already done and solved for yourself. Stop trying to sell digital products to people that they didn't even tell you that they want the digital products. That's why you're not making any money, because no one has told you that they want a digital product. No one has told you that they want that from you. And you're out there trying to force it down their throat. So my mentor used to say something, and it makes so much sense. You know, like when you're in the mall or when you're in a store and somebody comes up to you and they're like, what phone carrier do you use? You know, you got AT&T, or they're trying to sell you a perfume, or I didn't tell you I need that. That's not even why I'm here. You don't even want to even interact with them. You see them from a distance and you go the other way, so you don't even have to come into contact with them, because you don't even want to have to say, I don't need it, thank you. Right? Same concept. Right? Because that's how you come across the people that you try to sell what you want to sell to them. That's how it feels. I didn't tell you I want that. Right? I didn't tell you I need that. Right? And you just trying to sell me something because you're trying to make money. I know that's what you're trying to do. That is not how we operate around here. We don't sell anything. I don't sell nothing. I am not a salesperson. I have never been a salesperson. That's actually one of the things that kept me from starting initially, because I'm like, I'm not finna sell nothing to nobody. I'm not convincing nobody to buy nothing. I'm not. Listen, I know what I have achieved. If you buy it or if you don't buy it, that's entirely on you. That's up to you. What you do, if you make the investment or you don't make the investment, that is your choice. But I'm not selling you anything. But I don't have to sell, because the people that come to me, they know what I offer. So they're coming to me for a specific thing anyway. So they want what it is that I have even before I even offer them anything. Right? On my live this morning, when I went live, one of my mentees, I walked her through this exact same process. Right? Before she even launched her offer, people were like, how do I work with you? right? Because the strategy works, period, hands down, without a shadow of a doubt, it works. Okay? So your income will grow in proportion to how deeply you commit to your strengths. You have to first be able to identify what you are good at. And I do not want to hear, I haven't solved anything for myself. I'm not really good at anything. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, because you 1000% have solved something in your life, right? Whether you learn how to meal prep, whether you lost weight, like I said earlier, whether you are a single parent, right? Whether you moved across country or across states, right? Whether you were a nurse, right? You got your law degree. You passed the certification. Let me tell you something. I want you to do this experiment, right? And I want to show you how there is quite literally someone out there that is looking for the solution to everything. Anything you could think of. I want you to go to your social media platform and I want you to type it in. I want you to type in how to walk. I want you to type in how to make rice, how to tie your shoes. Any social media platform, I want you to type it in and you're going to find content about how to do it, right? Because people are looking for solutions. People want their problem solved, right? But you have to first identify, what is my zone of genius? What do I have that I can help somebody else solve? Because there is something, right? Don't take my word for it. Do the exercise yourself. Tonight, when you get off of this live, I want you to go and look on social media and go type in how to walk. Go on TikTok and type in how to walk. And I want you to pay attention to how many videos there are for something as simple as learning how to walk. Right? So if it's something as simple as if they can teach how to walk or how to tie a shoe or how to meal prep or how to knit, how to sew, how to whatever it is, you have something that somebody else wants, but you have to first identify it. And that is what is going to take your income from where you are to the very next level. So I'm going to read that again. Your income will grow in proportion to how deeply you commit to your strength, right? And in the Clarity to Coins prompt, it literally asks you it asks you exactly who you are, whether you're a man or a woman, how old you are, what you have achieved in your life. It asks you a slew of different questions for you to give it the information that it needs. And I want you to, when you get access to that, I want you to say, I'm sorry, I just got distracted. Once you get access to your Clarity to Coins, I want you to go deep. Don't stay surface. I want you to take a minute and go deep, right? If we're not working together on this, I need you to do this yourself. Top Boss Digital says you are absolutely right, sis. Right? Do this yourself. I had a one-on-one yesterday with one of my newest mentees. We literally, on my onboarding call, this is what we do. On my onboarding call, we go through the Clarity to Coins prompt together. And I like to do it with my mentees on the onboarding call because I know that sometimes if you do it by yourself, you're going to try to stay surface. You're going to try to stay like, oh, okay, well, I can't think of anything. What have I solved for myself? I don't know. I don't know. Right? You're not going to go deep. So I need to be there to like jog your memory. Think of anything. Have you had an at-home childbirth? Have you given birth naturally with no medication? What have you solved for yourself? Have you survived depression and anxiety? That is a zone of genius. I can get on here and I can create a platform about how to survive depression and anxiety. Because I have survived it. I have gotten through it. I have gotten myself out of it. There are people right now that are quite literally waiting for you to show up to say, this is how I got out of that situation. They're just waiting on you because they will pay you. Have you survived substance abuse? That is your zone of genius. I can tell you how to stop smoking weed. I hope they don't quit my live for that. But I can tell you how to kick substance abuse. I did it. I know the withdrawals that you're going to go through. I can prepare you before you even get to that point. This is what you're going to need to get because your body is going to start realizing that it's not getting what it's used to getting. So I need you to have soups. I need you, because you're not even going to want to eat. I can tell you how to get through it. So I just need you to think about, okay, what have I solved for myself that I can help somebody else solve? All right, let's move on. I can be a little long-winded, you guys. I apologize in advance. We have 6 steps and I am on step number 4. Without this strategy, I could not have walked away from my 9-to-5. I could not have fired my job. I didn't know what I was doing. I was lost in the sauce. I threw together a digital product and I just knew it was going to make some money, honey. I just knew. I was like, oh, I'm about to be an entrepreneur. Crickets. I didn't make no money. I was so frustrated because I was so hyped when I finished my digital product. When I finished that journal, when I tell you, homegirl was so hyped, I was like, I'm an author. I'm a self-published author at that. We about to make so much money. I didn't make a dime because I didn't have this information that I'm giving you, right? And there is so much, there's more that goes into this, right? And I want you to know it is not hard. Let me tell you something. When you start making that money, it's going to blow your mind. And it's going to be a feeling that you cannot unfeel. Okay? It's going to blow your mind. I wake up and I look at my phone. And when I see the notifications in my phone, all I can say is glory to God. Because while I was sleeping, somebody out there that was looking for what I had found me. It is less about the money and more about I showed up for the past version of me. I showed up for the version of me that was frustrated because I wasn't making no money. I showed up for the version of me that was scared of coming on camera. Doing this less than a year ago? I recorded so many videos and deleted them, never posted them. I didn't even want... I used to just get on and just start scrolling because I'm like, I can't do this shit. But I had to get out of my own way. Let's get into step number 4 because I don't want to hold you guys too long. And I know that we've already been here over an hour. You need to understand your target person and who you are talking to. Okay? Stop yelling into the void. Stop yelling into the void. Stop throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping, like, I hope it sticks. I hope it sticks. Right? Stop doing that. You look desperate. And we don't want to give desperate energy, right? You feel it. I know you feel it. When you are starting to create your content and nobody's engaging with your content, nobody is commenting, nobody is purchasing, nobody is giving desperate. Why? Because you're not speaking directly to the person that needs what it is that you have, right? You have to know, who is my target person? Anybody that tells you to focus on your target audience, click off of their video. And tell them I said it. Click off of their video. Because as a beginner, when you think about target audience, you're thinking about an arena full of people. You're thinking about 300, 1,000, 10,000 people that are watching you. It can be scary coming on camera when you think about it from that perspective. All of those people are going to watch my videos. What if I don't come up, what if they talk about me, or if I don't say this right? Or I used to hate, I was like, I don't want to hear me speak online. Like, I don't even want to hear my own voice. I don't want to see myself. I'm from up north, right? So I have a New York accent. And so, well, sometimes, because some people say The people from New York say that I sound Southern, and the people from the South say that I sound Northern. Anyway, my point is that I didn't want to hear myself speak. I didn't want to. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do. This is not right. Because your limiting beliefs are going to start to overcome you when you start thinking about a target audience. I promise you. Listen. I'm telling you what I know. I want you to think about your target person. I'm talking to you. Okay? I'm talking to you. Is 100,000 people going to see my video and interact with my content? Sure. But I'm talking to you. 98% of my mentees say I invested in your offer to be mentored by you because I felt like you were talking directly to me. I could not figure out how you knew what was going through my mind, how I was feeling about this whole thing. We had never had a conversation before. How did you know? Because I was there, because I was you, because I could speak confidently to the things that I have solved for myself, because I was you. I am going back to get the version of me that needed this version of me. So when you can speak from that place, right? When you can speak from step 3, your zone of genius, you can speak from the vantage point of being able to relate to that person. So when they are watching your content, when they are reading your content, when they are listening to your content, because content is not just videos. Let me just say, content is not just videos. You can have a podcast. You can have a newsletter. All of those things are content. Okay? When your target person interacts with your content, they need to feel like, oh yeah, she or he knows what they are talking about. They have the missing sauce to what it is that I need. Right? That's how your target person needs to feel about you. So I want you to identify who your target person is. Okay? How are you going to do that? Sure. With the zone of genius that you got from using your Clarity to Coins ChatGPT prompts, remember, it gave you 5, you chose 1, right? I want you to take that and then go into your starting from scratch manual, right? The first exercise in your starting from scratch manual is going to paint the picture of exactly who you are talking to. All right? You're going to take the information that you got from your Clarity to Coins prompt. You're going to plug it into your starting from scratch, step number 1. You're going to take that, put that into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is going to say, thank you for that information. You are so smart and so wise. Let me tell you who you are talking to. This is going to tell you your target person's pain points, what keeps them up at night, why they hate going into their job, what thoughts they have, what feelings they have. You need to get to know them like they are your best friend. And you are just literally trying to help your best friend go from where they are to where you are. Right? Once ChatGPT gives you that, which, by the way, if you do not have the starting from scratch manual, if you don't have access to the Mobile Money Academy, that's fine, right? You can go into ChatGPT and you can put in, based on the information that you gave me from the Clarity to Coins, tell me who my target person is, blah, 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 right? Identify my target person for me. It's going to give you name. It's going to give you an age, their demographic. It's going to make up a person for you. So every time you create content, I want you to act like you are talking to that person only. You're not talking to a bunch of people. You're not trying to sell nothing to nobody. You are having a conversation with your target person. Okay? Give it a name. It's going to sound crazy, but there's a method to my madness. Okay? Everything that I'm telling you to do has made me a coin. Okay, has made me a pretty bag online. I'm trying to get you to the money. Give them a name. Jessica, Rebecca, George, Hawthorne. I don't know. Make up something. Who is Hawthorne? I don't even think nobody's name is Hawthorne. Anyway, make up something. Give them a name is the point that I'm trying to make. Right? All right. You have to know their pain points. Knowing their pain points, their fears, what they've tried that hasn't worked, and what they're secretly hoping for. Do you know why? Do you know why this is so important? Do you know why I'm stressing this? Because then this is going to give you clarity in your content. Because now you can create your content to speak directly to your person. So when they come across your content, they don't feel discombobulated. They don't feel confused, because confused buyers don't buy. They're going to go to somebody else that's going to directly talk to them. And that's going to hit them from an emotional standpoint that they feel like, oh, yeah. I'm clear that I need to work with him, or that I need to work with her, or that I need to invest in his digital product, or I need to invest in her digital product. They're just going to go over there. Stop giving your money away. When you don't have clarity, you are giving your money away, right? So when you know who you're talking to, that's going to help with your content. It's going to make content creation so much easier for you, because now you have a foundation of what you need to be putting out. So when they come across the content, it's like, wow, they are locked in. Okay? All right. Your offers should read like a mirror to their problems. We just talked about that, right? We just talked about your target person being able to identify themselves in you. Going back, that's why I tell you to know your zone of genius, because you need to be the walking, talking, breathing example of what it looks like to follow your strategy. Case in point. Case in point, right? When my mentees, before they invested in my offer, before they joined my community, before they started or wanting to work with me and be a part of my mentorship, they saw themselves in me. If she could do it, I could do it. If she felt all the same feelings I'm feeling right now, oh, I could do it. I just need the information she has. So what they did, they owned the responsibility of going and getting that information, right? And they made an investment in themselves. What was step one? Going from the employee mindset to the ownership mindset, right? As an owner, you have to make investment decisions. You are already an owner. You just operate as an employee. And I want you to take that employee hat off. Yes, you might still have a job. That's okay. But I want you to take that employee hat off. Go rest it over there for a second. Even if you have to walk into a job, you are still already an owner. And you are going to have to make ownership decisions in your business that is either going to move the needle forward to where you are trying to get your business, the business of you, or that's going to keep. The choice is absolutely 1000% yours. Let's move on to number 5. Okay, step number 5. And I'm not going to take up too much more of y'all's time, right? Step number 5. Anybody that tells you to start with the digital product, unfollow them. They are trying to sell you something. They just want the money exchange. After the money exchange, you probably will never hear from them again. Tell them I said it. I don't mind. I can have this conversation all day. Anybody that is telling you invest in the digital product, you can have the master resale rights, and or you can go on Canva and you can make this digital product and you will make thousands and millions of dollars. Half true, partially true, because can you make thousands and millions of dollars in this digital space? 1000%. You can make more than that. For sure. Right? But what they're not telling you, they're not giving you the how. They're giving you the what, but they're not giving you the how. How? So now I got this digital product that I just invested in. I don't know what to do with it. Now what? And then when you try to reach out to them, they don't do mentorship, or they charging you for their mentorship now. And now you got to pay more on top. Bye. Right? So step number 5 is you need to build your community. You need to build a platform of people. Okay, boom, right? Let's say this. This is the grocery store, right? When you need milk, egg, and cheese, don't nobody gotta come to you and tell you you need milk, egg, and cheese. The grocery store just has to be there so that you can go to get what it is that you need. You are the grocery store. If you are not there, they cannot get the milk, egg, and cheese. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? If you are not there, they cannot get the milk, egg, and cheese. They cannot get what it is that they need from you. Your only responsibility is to show up with clarity, right? And they'll come to you. Start giving value. Start giving value. Before you even launch a digital product, before you even mention anything about a digital product, don't mention nothing about a product, right? Because one thing for sure, 2 things for certain, is that people love to buy. How many things have you already spent money on that you didn't even probably need? Right? Let's just say in the last 2 weeks. Think about it. You probably got a haircut, your nails done, your lashes done, your hair done. You got $1,000 worth of wigs in the closet. You got, the Chanel bag. That's not stuff you need, right? But you buy it because we like to buy. I am one of those people. That's why I have to have so many streams of income, because I like to buy. TikTok Shop gets me every time. Amazon gets me every time. I got like 48 things in my cart right now on TikTok Shop. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do better. But the point is, you need to show up and you need to be available for that person that needs what it is that you have, right? People like to buy. They don't want to feel like they are being sold to. So do not announce anything about a digital product in the beginning. Start your platform completely over, because you have to train the algorithm, right? That's a whole nother live for a whole nother day. But show up and give value. Give people information. If you feel like you're going to run out of things to say and information to give, you don't know enough about that topic, so you don't need to be talking about it. If you ever for a second feel like, if I give all this information away, then they're not even going to buy the product because I already gave them all the information. No, baby. The information, first of all, let me just say that people will still invest because they need to dive deeper, right? They hear you, right? But they need tangible things, right? So they will invest. And the information that you're giving in your content needs to be the tip of the iceberg. It just needs to be the tip of the iceberg, right? In your offer, whether it's whether they get to work with you one-on-one, whether you have a digital product or whatever, they get even more information. So if you giving the sauce in your content, they're going to look at you and say, if he was able to give all of this information, if she was able to give all of this information, what the heck? I need to see what's in the offer, right? So give value. Give value. And that is how you're going to start building your community. One of my mentees, she was on my TikTok live earlier. We were 5 weeks in working together. I feel so honored. I feel so honored that God chose me, because what's taking my mentees 5 weeks took me 3.5 years, right? We were working 5 weeks together. She built that community. The very day she launched her digital product, She already started making sales. Why? Because we took the opportunity to nurture and build the audience, to nurture and build the community. They did not feel like they were being sold to. They felt like she had what it is that they needed. And so they were ready to invest. That is how you sell without selling. That is how you sell without selling. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm giving you the information. Here, please take it. Right? And your community needs to feel overwhelmed by the amount of information that you are giving. Like, oh my God, why is she not charging for all of this information that she is giving? Why is he not charging for all of this information that he is giving? You know what happens when they feel that way? They want to pay you money. We went to a barbecue spot, quick story. We went to a barbecue spot the other day and I ordered a half a rack, right? You know, a half a rack of ribs is 6 ribs, right? I got 7 ribs. I'm always going back there. I'm always going back to that barbecue spot because I felt so good when I got more than what I bargained for, more than what I paid for, right? So if you're giving out all of the value and all of the content up front, they're like, I'm getting more than what I paid for. I haven't even paid for anything. This is information that most people keep gate-kept behind a paywall. That's how you want your target person to feel about the information that you're giving. All right? So build the community. Relationships convert. Relationships convert better than pitches. Everybody trying to get their script right. Everybody trying to get their hook right. Everybody trying to make sure they got their makeup done when they come online and that the aesthetic is aestheticing. Build the relationships. Show the people that you are really there to help, right? So if you're not there to really help and you're just there to make the money, this live is not even for you. Because I'm not even talking to you. You're not even my people. Because my people are genuinely showing up in the online space to serve, not to sell. Okay? That's my second bullet that I didn't even realize that I had typed down. Serve first. Serve first. Show up consistently and create a space where people trust your voice before they ever even buy anything from you. Now, there are ways that you can do so I know coming on camera is a big thing for most people, right? That's why I have my 14-day confidence on camera challenge in the community. If you are already in the Mobile Money Academy and you are scared to show up online, take the confidence on camera challenge. It's going to help you build that muscle. It's going to help you work that muscle. But there are ways that you can do this without showing up, right? My thing is multiple streams of income. So multiple streams of income does not only have to be A-roll content. A-roll is face-to-face. Is this what I'm doing right now, talking to you? This is A-roll, okay? It doesn't have to only be A-roll content. You can create faceless theme pages. You can create faceless content that will make you money. What is the difference? There are 3 ways that you can do this. And I'm going to give you all 3. And I'm going to tell you the difference of all 3. With faceless content, it is possible for you to make money. But I do not recommend faceless content being your second stream of income. Because why? Why, Trey? Why don't you recommend faceless content being my second stream of income? Great question. Because it takes longer to build the trust of your target person, right? And we're trying to get you to the bag now, right? We're trying to get you, maybe not now, because we're not like, we're not microwave people, right? We don't need immediate gratification, right? But when I say now, I mean within the next few weeks, right? Faceless content is not going to do that. Faceless content is very much delayed gratification. It's going to take a while for you to build that page or those pages up. I would recommend faceless content being the third or fourth stream of income. A-roll content, this what we're doing right now, 1000% your second stream of income. Because A-roll content nurtures the relationship between you and your target person. Okay? A-roll content builds that relationship and allows people to trust you more. Okay? They get to see you. They get to feel your energy. They get to hear your tonality, your tone of voice. They get to feel whether you are genuine or not. And people can tell. People can tell, right? So I 1000% recommend A-roll content because that's how you make the money quicker. It really is. The third way to make money in the online space is to start a business that doesn't have to have anything to do with social media. If you are in the Mobile Money Academy, you have access to over 55 plus business courses, right? My fourth stream of income is one of my own courses in the community. I'm taking the mobile notary course. I am starting my mobile notary business. I actually just started my mobile notary business page 2 weeks ago. We're at almost 800 followers on that page already. 2 weeks ago, I started. You know how many DMs I have had? Please, how can I take the course that you are taking? And I'm just sharing the information, right? So you can, and there's everything in there. Food truck, home health aid, home health business. Oh my God, it's so many. Virtual call center, mobile notary, so over 60 easy business courses, all right? So those are the three ways that you can start formulating your passive income streams. Either faceless content, face forward A-roll content, or taking a business course and staying completely offline. What I will recommend though is that you take that course and that you come on this here internet and you teach people what you learned in the course. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you what I know. Okay. Step number 6, and then we are done. It's a wrap. Okay. Step number 6, and then we are done. All right. I hope that you are finding value from this live. I thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you are taking notes. I hope that you are receiving what you have been sent to receive, right? Because I tell my mentees all the time, you may not be my mentee, but I'm going to tell you, God don't play about me. And my prayer has been, God, only send me the people that you assign to me. That's it. That's my only ask. I only want to interact with the people that were assigned to me, that need to hear what God has to say through me as the vessel, right? And if God does not play about you, if God does not play about me, that means God does not play about you. And if God does not play about you, I don't play about you, because I don't play about God. All right, so number 6. Content is king. And I know that you have heard this before. Content is king. But guess what? Clarity is queen. And the king don't move without the queen. Hello? The king does not move without the queen. You could post content till you're blue in the face. If there's no clarity in your offer, in your content, you're not making any money. Okay? Post content that speaks directly to your target person with clarity and confidence. That's what we spoke about earlier. Knowing your target person, right? Identifying who your target person and what their pain points so that you can deliver the message with clarity. Right? Not just with clarity, with confidence. This all works together. Very same reason why you need to be operating in your zone of genius. It all works together. Right? Don't post for likes. Don't get so caught up in the vanity metrics. All right? The likes, the follows, the this, the that, the boop, 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 boop. Don't get so caught up in the vanity metrics. Don't post just so that you can grow your subscriber count, or so that you can grow your following, or that you just so that you can grow your likes. Don't post for that reason. Right? You want to post your content because your content is planting the seeds. All right? I tell my mentees, you need to be pushing your content like it's crack in the 80s. I hope I don't get banned for that. Right? How many times you get in the car and you turn the radio on, you hear the same commercial? How many times you on YouTube and you see the same commercial? Over and over again. Why? Because they're planting the seed. They're going to plant that seed because you may not be ready to buy right now. Commercial over and over. But you're going to remember the Charmin jingle. You're going to remember the beers. You're going to remember, let me try this Charmin. That's what your content is, essentially commercials. I like to use my my shorts on here and my TikTok content as more so my seed planting content, right? In my long form videos, I give more value. But even if they're not ready to buy at that moment, they're gonna watch a few of my videos and they're going to invest. 98% of my mentees said, I've been watching you for a minute. I watched about 3 of your videos, and after the 3rd video, I knew I was ready to invest. And I invested. Right? So you want to plant the seeds, right? Give the value, and the value will plant the seeds. People will invest when they are ready to invest. You don't have to go chasing the money. You keep your poise. They're going to keep your poise. Because if you're doing everything that I tell you to do, they're coming. It's only a matter of time. Right? And then you're going to get one sale, and then one sale is going to turn into 10 sales. You're going to be making $500. You're going to be having $500 to $1,000 days. I used to dream of $500 days where I didn't have to go clock in to work. You know how much you know how much $500 days equals out to 7 days a week? All right. Right? Post your content to build trust and to plant seeds. Content should answer questions, solve problems, and position you as the authority figure. You are the subject matter expert, right? They're coming to you as the subject matter expert, right? Why? Because you are. I told you earlier in this live, if you are not an expert at anything else, you are an expert of your own experiences. These people are coming to you for the wisdom, the knowledge that you have from your own experience. So guide them, lead them, show them the way. Is that a song? That feels like that's a song. All right. So those are all the 6 steps. That's all the time that I have for tonight, you guys. I just woke up from a nap not too long ago, and I was like, let me get on YouTube Live, because I have not been on YouTube Live in quite some time. I hope that you have found this live helpful. I hope that you have found this live helpful. I hope that you have gotten every single thing that you needed to hear from tonight's live. Okay? We meet tomorrow. If you are in the mobile money community, we meet tomorrow. We meet every first Thursday, and we meet every 4th Thursday of the month. Tomorrow happens to be the 4th Thursday of the month. So we meet tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you do not have your link, please send me a message. Please send me a message. Yes, you are so welcome. I'll see you tomorrow. Send me a message. If you don't have the link. And what else? If you are not in the mobile money community and you want to be a part, you want to be surrounded by people that are actually doing what it is that you want to do. Right? You want to be surrounded by people that are accomplishing the things that you are wanting to accomplish. For the next hour, if you use the code FREE, you get $100 off of the Click Post Profit, right? Click Post Profit is every single thing you need. You get the one-on-one with me. You get access to the community. You get access to our group coaching calls. You get access to every single resource. And it's lifetime. It's not a monthly thing. It's one time. That's it. One and done, right? And you get to come in as you please, as you wish, as you need to, okay? So for the next hour, if you use the code FREE, you can get $100 off of Click Post Profit. All right. I hope to see you guys on tomorrow's live. I hope to see you guys on future YouTube videos. I hope to see you in our group coaching calls. Stop playing small. If I would have continued to play small, I would not have been able to walk in them people's office and say, thank you for the opportunity, but I'm out. All right. So that's it, you guys. I love y'all so much. Thank you guys for being here. I hope that you got this was very helpful. See you tomorrow in the meeting. Are you part of the community? I hope to see you tomorrow in the meeting. I don't know the names on here. So Adore Love Sexy, let me know when in tomorrow's meeting. Let me know. Okay, perfect. Let me know that it was you so I can shout you out on the call tomorrow. All right. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you on the next live. Bye, guys.